Hey guys, how are you all doing? Today I'm back with a new video and I'll be working on this thing, the last few things that need to be done. It's been on a dyno for the second time, now with a new clutch in there. It's producing 325 horsepower and I believe around 500 Newton meters of torque. I'm currently working on wiring up the fan, this new shrinker, to make these connectors here. So now I can crimp these connectors onto wires and it looks a whole lot better. And after that, if there's enough time, I'll also do a bit of work on both of the Volvos, because I got some news for you. Let me show it to you. Is a Ford 9-inch axle. And if you look closely, I bought two of them. So this is a Ford 9-inch axle and these are absolutely bulletproof. This one will go under the 242. The 245 will remain its stock axle because this one only has 265 horsepower from the 1UZ and around 380 Newton meters of torque. So that will suit it very well. On this car, on the other hand, I first want to drop in that one with a huge turbo on it, and a friend of mine was telling me about his project plans and I thought, well, that's a great idea of an engine. It's a diesel engine. It's kind of the 2JZ of the diesels. Let me show you. This here, a Mercedes engine. This is an OM606 engine. So it's the 3-liter diesel engine. I'll get a mechanical pump on there and a lot of other stuff, probably a compound turbo setup. And then it should produce around 600 horsepower and 1000 Newton meters of torque. And that's why this one needs a huge axle under it to make sure that the axles won't snap. For the wiring part, I already made the wires to the relay. The relay is located here. What I also did in the meantime, I installed a Vauxhall Astra or Opel Astra steering pump. Hop into the interior, flick it on. It will need like 10 seconds to start up. It seems really loud, but when the engine is running you can't hear it. Well, let's turn it off before the battery is empty. Now there's a nice connection, everything is protected and glued on there. So these switches are done. Let's hook these gauges back up and then everything should work. Alright, fuse box is also done, so now let's give it the first go and see if the fan will spin. Everything is wired up, so now let's give it the first try. Really interested if it's going to work. That's the pump. Sounds like it's working. Nice. Alright, so underneath the car we just done the thermostat and the next thing is the screamer pipe, which is now making lots of beautiful sounds. We're going to make this one a bit more quiet. We're going to reroute it into the exhaust. And what we're going to do for that, we're going to cut it somewhere around here and then with a 90 and a small flex section. That's really important because this here doesn't get as hot as the exhaust, because the exhaust is constantly flowing and this one only is when you make a full boost. So this one will be slightly larger than this and then you have the possibilities for it to crack. So always make sure to use a flex section. Let's get welding. I bought this welding helmet like 2 months ago and it's been so amazing. The Optrail, I believe this is the Vegaview or Megaview, don't know, but it works like a charm. And the best thing is, you can already see it here, that you can see through it when you're not welding. You can just put it in grinding mode and you can actually see the light through it. With the cheap ass welding helmets like that one above, you can't see a thing when you're not welding. Stainless filler, I believe this is 2 or 1.6 mil. I've cleaned the exhaust piping up, so now let's weld this sucker. As you can see, now it's routed back into the exhaust. I'm slowly getting there. The entire front is of the car. I unbolted or cut most of the wires, coolant hoses. Most of them, I just take them, rip them out. Fuel lines, etc. You don't have to lose anything. Just grab it, pull it, and it immediately breaks off. Yesterday I designed this thing here. This will be the engine mount for the OM606. This is just a test fit to make sure that all of the bolt holes are aligned. I like to use existing bolts. So what I did, I designed it for the low control arm bolt and the engine mount bolts. So this one will slide right over here. But first let me notch this open here, and on the other side the same thing. That way I don't have to remove the bolt, but I can just slide it over. Of course, in the end version, in the steel one, you want to take the bolt out, but for now, for test fitting, this will be perfect. This one fits like a glove, but the main thing is that I need to figure out how high it needs to be on that side, because I want them both leveled. So I need to figure out how much room I need to have with the steering here. A friend of mine called up, so I need to do a quick job in between, but this was really quick. I needed to make a 1UZ manifold for his Mustang Miata. So I quickly made this log manifold for him out of 316 stainless. Looks pretty neat. So I've done the manifold and he's going to weld the rest on it. To make things a whole lot easier for myself, this support is already rusted, so I'm going to cut it out entirely. Later on I'm going to fabricate a new one, but for now this will be so much easier for test fitting purposes. I cleaned up the shop like 2 days ago and it's an absolute mess, especially over there. That's my collection of Volvo rust. There's quite a lot of it, and guess where it's coming from? You would say it looks like it's going to fit really easy. It's the oil sump. We need to cut the oil sump and shorten it over there by like 5 or 4 centimeters. But like I said, I already knew that, so I got myself a big plate of 4mm aluminum. Right, so what I did was, at the point where it's going up, I cut it, and then here on this section, let's measure it, and then it's around 7 to 8. So we're getting a lot extra clearance. By removing this. Oh, and by no means am I an expert on welding aluminum, but the only way to learn things is by doing them. This is one of those typical moments where on video it's a few seconds, in real time it's like 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours. But I fixed it right now, so I'm going to drop it in and then call it a day. The OM606 is sitting inside the engine bay and literally sitting. Well, one thing is that if you want this engine to fit this main bar, maybe that's the reason why there aren't any kits for sale for the OM606 in this engine, because it requires a lot of customization. What I'll be doing, since I already removed this thing, I'm just going to let it sit right like that and fabricate some engine mounts. The engine mounts, unfortunately, the idea I had in mind isn't going to work. Over here, it isn't clearing the steering column, so there's the steering input shaft and it's hitting this mount. But for this side, on the other hand, I think that one might work. But what I'm going to do, probably, I need to figure it out. I'm going to use my mounts which I made for the 1UZ, which go over the rails, and then a flat piece of steel which is sticking out, and then this mount can drop on there perfectly. And from the top, this is how the OM606 is sitting. As you can see, there's loads of clearance, so that's perfect. That means we can raise the engine just a little bit to make mounting the engine a bit easier. And it also fits right here with the booster, and you could even push it further backwards, like 4 centimeters with the Sump shortened, but I'm going to keep it like this. So expect more videos on the OM606 build, 242, and on the 245 1UZ build. The upcoming few weeks I haven't got that much customer projects planned. I really wanted to finish my own cars. What I'll be doing soon is make engine mounts for this one, and after that finish up the 245, because I really want this car up and running in the summer, and after that we can focus on the 242. This one will probably get a compound turbo setup, HX35, HX50, lots of horsepower and loads of torque. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.